Hi, folks. Welcome to The Way I See It, which is my podcast on all things investing, money, and the economy. So, I want to talk about stock options, right? What are stock options? How are they used? Why the companies offer them and all. So, let's get right to it. So, it's two words, right? There's stock and there are options. So, to understand stock options, we've got to explain what a stock is and then what an option is. So a stock simply represents share or ownership in a company, right? So every company, even if it's public or private, has got owners, what we call shareholders. And then those shareholders get allocated shares. So you can buy them or you get allocated those shares and you're a shareholder, right? So when we say stock, we're basically talking about shares or equity, right? Just showing ownership of that company in that company as well. So let's just take a company. Let's just say company O, right? So company O has, let's say, 100,000 registered shares. And let's say there are two directors in the company O, and they both pay 50,000 to buy those 100,000 shares. So they have a total of 100,000 shares, and they paid $100,000 to buy those shares, right? So each share is worth about $1. That's essentially what it means, right? 100,000 divided by 100,000. So those are the shares, right? So the total market capitalization, which is simply number of shares multiplied by the market price. In this case, 100,000 multiplied by one is still going to be 100,000. So pretty easy. So stock just means shares, which just means ownership, right? So what is an option? So an option represents a right, but not the obligation to buy shares at a future date, but at a fixed price. So you have the right, but you're not going to be like mandated. You have that opportunity to buy this stock at a future price, right? At a future date. But the price you're going to buy that stock in is going to be fixed. So we'll call that future price the strike price, right? So the way it would work would be this. If we have, remember we have a company O has issued 100,000 shares. So company O could then go to someone else and say, hey, Mr. K, you have the right to buy 10,000 shares of company O in 2 years, right? But you have a strike price of 5 naira or $5, right? Remember the price for one share of company O is one, but you have the strike price to buy it at $5, but in say 2 years' time. So it's the right to buy, but not the obligation to buy those shares in the future at a fixed price, which you call the strike price, right? That's essentially what a stock option is. It's the option to buy that stock in future at that fixed price. Okay. So why are stock options issued, right? Why do companies issue them? What's the purpose of issuing them? So stock options are very popular with startups, like brand new startups that don't have a lot of cash, and also startups that want to attract talent and also to keep talent and to motivate that talent to deliver. So the way it would work is going to be this again. Remember Mr. K? Let's say Mr. K was an engineer and the company O wanted to employ Mr. K as an engineer. Now, because he's a highly trained engineer, they might not have the cash to retain him for 5 years. It would cost a lot. So what they would do is to offer him a stock option and be like, hey, we're going to offer you 10,000 shares of company O, and you can have 2,000 shares will be vested. That's a new word. It'll be vested. You get those shares every year. You get 2,000, then 4,000, then 6, then 8, then 10. So for 5 years, you would get the full 10,000 shares, right? And you're going to buy these shares when it gets to 10,000 at 10 naira. Remember, the price is $1 or 1 naira, right? But if you wait all the way for 5 years, you can buy these shares at 10. So what that means is three things here happening right now. Number one, Mr. K has got the option to buy 10,000 shares. That's the first thing we have to see in the stock option that we've been offered. He has the option but not the rights. Like it's not mandated to. He has the option to buy 10,000 shares. The second thing is that the 10,000 shares are going to be given to him every year. So he gets 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000. This means that he won't get the whole 10 at once, but he has got to stay for 5 years to get 10,000, right? But the most important part of this whole arrangement is that it has a strike price of 10, right? So the price is 1 today, but the strike price is 10, which means if he waits for 5 years, his 10,000 shares, he can buy it at 10. Remember, the price today is 1. So what does this mean? If we look at it in terms of to my remuneration, if I was saying Mr. K, right? It means number one, I'm encouraged to come to the company because I could be a shareholder, not just an employee. I'll be a shareholder of that company if I come and I stay, right? So very important, if I come and I stay for 5 years, I get 10,000 shares. So number one, I'm attracted. Number two, I'm retained. But most importantly, I have to work very hard because I'm buying the shares now at $1. The shares are priced now at $1, but in 10 years' time, I can buy it for 10. So for it to be worth my while, I have to make sure that I contribute towards making the share price higher than 10. So if it gets to say 50, I still buy it at 10. That's what the strike price means. You will buy it at whatever price it is. If it's 100, you still buy it at 10. But if it's 5, then you're not going to have to buy it because it doesn't make any sense for you. You can buy it cheaper. You don't have to exercise your option, right? So two things then happen with stock options. Number one, it could be what we call in the money, which means that the share price rises higher than that strike price. I'm saying it again, the share price or the price of the shares in the 10 years, right, rises higher than the strike price, which means there's profit there, right? It's in the money. So what I would do is that I would simply exercise my option and buy my 10,000 shares at the 10 naira, right? And make a profit. So if the share was selling at 100 for one, and I had a strike price at 10, I would simply exercise my offer, right? Instead of buying at 100, I buy it for 10 and make a profit of 90. Easy. So that's why it's stock options. If I work hard and I stay, I get that advantage, right? So that's in the money. Of course, the other side is going to be out of the money, in which case the strike price was 10, but after 5 years, the price of the stock is now, give or take, let's say 5. So you see, I'm out of the money. There's no point exercising my option because if I exercise my option, it's lower than the strike price. So I'm out of the money. So that's the whole idea of options. You use options to attract, to retain, also to motivate workers or anybody really by giving them the right to purchase stock at a fixed strike price sometime in the future. And you can see options really everywhere, not just for employees, right? It could be you could go to the marketplace and you could buy options on any stock that you like. This exact same thing. The stock, you could buy an option in the future at a strike price. And you simply then watch the price. And then if the strike price is, of course, lower than the market price, then you've made some money because then you can also just exercise your option and buy that option and buy the stocks at the strike price, and you make a profit from the difference between the strike price and the market price. So you can buy a call option, in which case you are saying the stock's going to go up, or you can buy a put option, in which case you think the stock's going to go down. But broadly, this is essentially how stock options work. It's just the right, but not the obligation to buy a stock at a future date, but at a fixed price called the strike price. Right, guys? That's just my way of giving you a very, very basic introduction to options. I hope you liked it. So again, watch, listen, follow, and subscribe to The Way I See It, our podcast. My book is out, guys. So if you do go online to Amazon, You can buy the book. It's called Let's Talk About Your Money. It's also available on Roving Heights, and it's also going to be available on my website, www.kaluaja.org. I think it's a great book. You should get it. It will enrich you. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. You guys stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves, and bye.